Okay, this next question was faxed in to us from we know not where. It was signed Polly Post Pill, and it reads, I'm sure the pill is responsible for my health problems and I want to quit, but I've heard it takes a while for your hormones to return to normal. What changes should I expect? Is there any way I can keep track of my cycles while this is going on? Also, what can I do to get my health back once I quit the pill? Now, Carolyn, what kind of health problems could Polly Post Pill have had while she was on the pill?
That could be anything from depression to blood clots, high blood pressure, inability to wear contact lenses, yeast vaginitis, migraine headaches. You see, the pill makes the body feel like it's pregnant so that the hormones are at a certain level all the time. When you stop the pill for that 1 week, the bleeding that comes is just a letdown from the hormones. The hormones have built up some blood and then it's let down. So it's a completely unnatural cycle that's happening.
Okay, now is that part of the changes that she could expect, or are there other ones?
Well, when you go off the pill, people go off the pill maybe to get pregnant or because of the side effects. So what can happen there is the periods can become shorter and scanty, and maybe you don't have periods at all and you can't get pregnant. Those are the main side effects.
Okay, now is there any way of keeping track of the cycles?
That is possible with a method called natural birth control. It's a symptothermal method where you keep track of your vaginal mucus and temperatures to find out your cycle. The vaginal mucus actually responds to the hormones and can tell you exactly where you are in the cycle. And it's used for fertility management and also for birth control.
That's amazing. Now, what kinds of things should she be doing in order to regain her health once she quits taking the pill?
Well, when you're on the pill, the side effects are a lack of B6, zinc, vitamin C, different vitamins and minerals, and you might have to supplement with them, and also eat a good diet and the usual natural, normal lifestyle.
Thank you, Carolyn. Now, Gordon, this next letter was directed to your attention, and it comes from Shoping Han of Toronto. Shoping is single and works and has managed to save a nest egg, which he has in a savings bank account. He's interested in making his money work for him, and he realizes that there are other investments more profitable than a bank account, but he's very cautious. He doesn't feel that he has the knowledge or the time to follow the market. His question is, should I leave my money to a financial manager or put it in a mutual fund, or how can I find a good one? Well, it's one of those how, wet, when, where, why questions.
Well, let's deal with them one at a time. First of all, financial manager. Now, there are all kinds of financial managers available. You can go to a personal financial planner. You can use a broker. There are people who are actually in the investment counseling business. A lot depends on how much money you have and how much you're willing to pay to get this advice. I would suggest that probably a better route to go is to probably start doing your own investing, learning a little bit on your own. Mutual funds are a good way to start. I'm a great fan of mutual funds. We have a lot of good ones in this country. There's a good place to start, which is by perhaps looking at my book, a little plug in here. My annual guide to mutual funds may help you on this. Now, when you're considering mutual funds, what you have to look at is what type of mutual fund do you want to be in. And you say you're a conservative type of person. I would suggest that you look at fixed income funds, something like a good mortgage fund, for example. Nice and solid and safe and keeps generating nice returns year after year after year. Other types of good mutual funds to look at, a bond fund, money market funds, and so on. These are the conservative types of funds. A more aggressive investor would choose something like an equity fund, a stock fund. And I think, as I said at the start of the program, I think 1992, we're going to see some significant gains in the stock market as the recovery takes hold. So you might want to perhaps put a little bit of money into an equity fund, but I'd start in a more conservative manner and get a feeling for what you're doing and then build from there.
Would you actually recommend somebody who, I mean, he said he didn't have the time to follow the stock market or learn about it or keep an eye on it. Would you actually advise him to do that if he said, yeah, okay, I'm ready to take the plunge?
I would not advise him to go into the stock market. But the plain fact is, you may say that you don't have the time to follow investing or to learn about investing.
Right.
You have to make the time. I mean, it is important to know what is happening to your money. For example, you should be putting your money in an RSP. It's important to know how that money is invested and to make sure you're getting the maximum return. So I would say make the time, spend the effort. It's worth it in terms of what the return you're going to get down the road from your money.
Okay, now he had about $25,000 sitting in this bank account. Is there, I mean, should he sort of split it up and put some into a mutual fund and some into a mortgage?
Start slowly. Start slowly. He hasn't had a lot of experience. Get some knowledge, get some experience first, feed a little bit in, learn what it's like to invest, and as you gain more confidence, then you can move more money out. Don't let it stay in the bank account too long, though, because the bank accounts are not paying anything these days.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure a lot of credit cards suffered from seasonal meltdown, and a lot of people who are wondering how to manage their debt now that the bills are coming in are going to be glad to hear Gordon. We have a couple of credit card questions for him, beginning with this one from Cheryl in Toronto. Now, Cheryl has run up some sizable debts on her credit cards and is thinking about consolidating her debts. In other words, applying to the bank for a loan large enough to pay off all of her credit cards. She sounds like she's worried that her credit card is going to be frozen somehow if she pays it off with a bank loan. Now, I would think that a bank loan and a credit card loan are two separate things. It's not really an either-or situation, is it?
It probably is not, no. Now, in this case, you're on the right track. The prime rate now is at 8%. Credit card rates are mostly in the anywhere from 17.5% to 20% area. Clearly, it's a better idea to consolidate the loan at a lower interest rate and pay off your credit card balance. And probably she could get the rate at prime plus 2 or 3, so she's going to save a lot of money in interest costs. Now, if you're worried about the credit card itself, the only situation in which I could see a possible difficulty arising is if the bank, by virtue of the loan that you're taking out, insists that you turn in your credit card, that you not use it anymore, that you consolidate all your debt with the bank. It's unlikely they'll do that unless you are a very serious credit risk. So I think you can probably go ahead, not worry about it. You can use your credit card for reservations or to hold a car for rental or something like that. But don't run up big bills on it again. That's the key. Just use it for convenience purposes.
Okay, the second credit card question was left on our answering machine.
My name is Barb Wetzel. The question I have is what card could one purchase rather than the CIBC Visa card with the $12 annual fee? What other card could one obtain with the same features as the Visa without any yearly fee? Thank you.
Well, Gordon, is there any such thing as a free credit card?
Believe it or not, yes.
Do you have any?
There is. I have 2 of them, actually. You can get a free Visa card, free in the sense of no transaction fee, no annual fee. Of course, you still have to pay interest on any balance you carry. From Central Guarantee, they've been having a lot of trouble lately, but they still have their free Visa card. You can get a free MasterCard from the Bank of Montreal. And again, no transaction fee, no annual charge. So there's a couple of free ones right there that you can work with. There are some others, I believe, available, but those are the 2 main ones that you can find. All the other cards have some kind of a transaction fee. And of course, when you get into the premium cards, the gold cards and so on, heck, you can spend hundreds of dollars a year on these cards, but you get some extra benefits as well. It really depends on what do you want from a credit card. And if it's a basic no-frills card, then a free card is just as good as any you're going to get.
Well, that's Q&A for this week. Gordon, Carolyn, thank you both for coming in, shedding some light on health inquiries, financial inquiries. Gordon, I know we have a special coming up with you and financial planner Peter Volpe, if I pronounced the name right, sometime next month. So we'll look forward to that.
Yes, we're going to be talking about RSPs and some of the questions that people are going to have on the new rules. Many people aren't familiar with the rules, even though they changed in January 1991. Just coming up to their RSP contributions now, and suddenly they're finding new limits and new carry-forward rules, all kinds of stuff. We'll be glad to answer all of those questions for them.
Well, that's great. Thank you. Carolyn, do you have any questions for Gordon?
Well, actually, I was going to ask, I'm working in the States. I'm getting a salary in the States. Can I contribute from my U.S. salary to my Canadian RSP fund?
Good question. That will depend on whether you're a resident of the U.S. or Canada for tax purposes. If you're a resident of Canada, then you can, because you'll be paying income tax in Canada, and you can get an RSP deduction. If you're a resident of the U.S., you can't. The only benefit is you'll pay lower taxes.
Kind of a trade-off, I think.
That's right.
Okay, well, here's your opportunity to clear up some RSP investment questions. If you have a question for Gordon or Peter, please send them in soon so they can bone up on the answers. When You Can't Reach the Doctor, written by Dr. Carolyn Dean and published by Perfect Pitch. Or Low Risk Investing, written by Gordon Pape and published by Prentice Hall. Next week, I'll be back with Dr. Yvonne Kaysen, our specialist in family relations, some of which may have been strained over the holidays, and lawyer Cher Singh. So until then, remember our slogan, it's your show, so use it. Keep those cards and letters coming. I'm Matt Sue Anderson. Good night.